heading to St. Hubert right now.
Pouria, you ready to fly?
Just as good as I remember it. It's a cool building to be in. I don't know anybody better to talk about Airbnb than Kyle.
So, who are we going to meet and where and what are we talking about? And put your damn seatbelt on.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna go meet my buddy Kyle, and funny enough, we were just there. They used to be like the management of Imperial Tobacco, and then they branched off into like an Airbnb business years ago, and it went really well for them. And then they found a new opportunity, and they opened a new business, and they just got investors, I think, from the States. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's going to talk to me about it today. So anyways, we're going to go see him because a lot of people ask me about Airbnb, the legalities, what to expect, and so on and so forth. I don't know anybody better to talk about that stuff than Kyle, because he's got the most experience with this stuff, and he used to do it day in, day out. Just so everyone knows, there are certain legalities that involves Airbnb, and for the most part, in theory, we're not allowed to do it. But I think that there's a big gray zone, and Kyle would be the right guy to ask about those things anyways. You got your sparkling water there.
Good,
I made that myself.
You've got the touch, man.
Cheers.
You know, everything's good. And now we're just like worried about like getting the right like salespeople that we need. So we're gonna be like 10 in the back office. We're gonna have about 15 to 20 sales reps. Now we're just doing all
Already?
Yeah. Like it's go time. Like we're planning to launch.
But you just finalized this, what, a couple of weeks ago, no?
Last week.
And 20 sales reps already.
We have over 500 PVs.
Wow.
What was nice is that like we had 2 years ago left the big company life. We started our Airbnb business, got into that like completely new to us, right? Developed the system, started to learn all the rules.
Right.
Because the rules are like obviously like are crazy and they change by the second.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining to them, because I don't know anyone who worked with Airbnb as closely as you guys did.
Yeah.
Right, because you took on projects and you did it the right way, which is something I respected, because most people will just kind of go through and be like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you were in the ins and the outs, and while you don't do that anymore, but you probably have the most experience out of most people I know. So I said, there's just one guy who could really answer these questions properly. And right now I think like it's almost like not allowed anywhere anymore in theory, right?
Yeah. I always tell people like the first thing like in terms of advice is just like reach out to like your city, like right, to find out the rules, to find out what you can and can't do. Because the last thing you want is to get into something and then you're getting some sort of fine or you're getting a notice, and then like the investment that you thought you can choose for more is actually costing you way more. So that's the main thing. That was the key for us. Is like understand the rules and understand how you can abide by them, as opposed to trying to like do everything sneaky and then you end up with a big fine.
Are they finding people at this juncture?
Well, from the last time I was checking in, what they're doing is they're building cases, and now it's like sanctioned by Revenue Quebec. So it's Revenue Quebec agents that are going out, seeing if they can book on Airbnb and things like that.
They care more about the taxes than anything else, right?
It's funny who actually is coming after you.
Yeah.
And not like the city, not that it's literally Revenue
It's Revenue Quebec.
So they're
Isn't it registered on Airbnb now though? Like
So your lodging tax is registered. So again, like don't take it for letter of the law, but this is like where we last off. They did the deal. I think that was probably like maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Airbnb brokered the deal. So there was the whole problem of like obviously what you're declaring, but there's also a lodging tax that you should have been paying, and that's one thing that we learned in the process that we started early. So even before Airbnb like was taking it directly from your bookings, we were actually paying that because we found out that was something you had to do.
Yeah.
So lodging tax is already in there, but you still need things like permits, and you need to register with the CITQ, which is like the Quebec governing hotel industry. So there's a lot of steps that you need to do in order to do it above board.
So like Plateau, where you guys were mostly active, right? It was allowed, and then now I think it's falling into the category of being disallowed, right?
You could just go in, get your permit, you're good to go. You have to be a certain zoning, and once you're in that zoning, you're good. then they changed
So do they still exist, those zones?
They've changed it. So it used to be a broad spectrum and it used to be zoned. Like, it was like an H something zoning. And then they changed it and then they said there's a moratorium on it until we figure out what the hell we're doing. And then the most recent one that I saw is that you have to be on main commercial arteries. So you have to be either on like Boulevard Saint-Laurent or Saint Denis, and that was it. It really restricted where you can do it. So that's the last of like the regulations that I was reading up on. So they always are trying to like control it, but if you're the city, it's good for you because Saint Laurent is a tourist attraction. That's where you want your tourists to be. It becomes a problem when you're disrupting like more residential areas. So they still want to encourage it, but they want to do it in a controlled manner.
Because there's a lot of people who lease in Plateau Mont-Royal. And I guess they don't want to kind of create this situation where everyone kicks out their tenants and they're just doing this hotel business and making the revenues and forget what you're declaring, but it's also going to become an issue because right now, like rentals right now are a huge issue.
Yeah.
There's like 100 families without homes, right? Because like they can't lease anything, like they're not available. Like people think that real estate, in terms of purchasing, real estate, it's scarce. It is. Leasing is even more scarce.
In terms of like the plateau, like you probably have a lot of Airbnb, and you're probably limiting some of the housing opportunities that might be there.
It's because a lot of times right now, a lot of my clients who are buying in terms of the commercial or multi-residential sector, many people, like I've done a lot of deals at Plateau Mont-Royal, and that's part of the process that we see. It's always a question that's asked of me, well, should we just do like Airbnb? And I always warn people. I say, listen, your purpose for the purchase should not be as a result of doing Airbnb. It could be a bonus if it works out.
I totally agree with that. Potential homeowners tell me that. I'm like, don't go with that being your mindset. If you can get in within the regulations and make a couple extra bucks, great. But understand that that's not going to be a long-term situation. Regulations are going to change monthly, yearly. It's not going to be a long-term.
And these areas, like I sold properties just a year and a half, 2 years ago in these locations where we had like 5.5, 6 caps.
Yeah.
Now they're like 4.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, you have to put more money down. So a lot of foreign investors are buying these buildings now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they want to have them managed, and you're trying to kind of fall into that. But they ask me, oh, could someone do this? Could someone do that? I'm like, that's not the purpose of this investment. Right now, if you're buying buildings, if you can do it, great. But you have to kind of bank on the equity growth more than anything, because honestly the returns in these areas, like let's call them like the A buildings, right, in multi-residential, well, those are going to have a lower cap. You want to have a nicer cap rate, like more revenue, more return, you're going to go to these developing areas. And then it comes with its own problems because your bad debts are also increased, right? I know you're not doing this anymore, but what would your projection be with regards to Airbnb in the city in the years to come?
In my opinion, I think that there's going to be more progressive cities that are going to take the right approach and are going to regulate it and put it in certain like key areas. That's what I think is going to happen more and more.
I think that's key because I think that everything is kind of gearing towards that tech industry. I think it's kind of inevitable, right? I think that if you kind of look into projections and the way things are going to go forward, well, it's better for the cities to be able to kind of have a hands-on and maintain it and regulate it versus saying you're not allowed to do it, right? Unfortunately, some people get hit by it. It's hotel industries.
It'll be more urban sprawl. It'll be more single units. It'll be tougher to manage, but there'll be more and more technology that'll help manage that.
Right. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers. Bonne soirée à vous. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Bye bye. Kyle, man.
Yeah, nice seeing you, man.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
But I gotta do this more often, man.
Absolutely.
I did not want to buy after I sell because that stress I can't deal with. Because as you know, there's nothing on the market, right? And I really love the home I'm in. Like we built it and like it's catered to us and it's great, right? Like I said, I was able to increase the size and like for the kids, I feel it's something more long term. It'll be great. So we went for it. I always tell people, and I had mentioned to you guys last time too, money can't drive you. It won't work. So I like to, you know, act and then react, you know.
Well, at least you made the first move, right? That's the... You deal from a position of influence, and then from there you see where the chips fall.
I'll also tell you, I'm the kind of person who needs that kind of pressure on him. Right? It's been the way I function, and I become a lot more efficient in the handling of my stuff. When I have so much to do is when I'm at the peak of my efficiency.
Because you really feel the fire.
Yeah, because now I'm doing everything I gotta do, and I'm back to back to back to back to back, and I'm able to kind of make it work, right? And the moment that I have nothing to do, I crash. And this happened to me a couple of weeks ago, actually. It's been, no joke, since January, since I've been back from vacation in January, non-stop until a few weeks ago. I got like one of the first days I've had off, and honestly, the last one I remember it was January. And like, I took a breath, and then after that I crashed. You know what I mean? Like, all my energy kind of just got sucked out of me, because you're running on adrenaline. You know what I mean? Like, you always got things to do, so you're running. And look, I think as long as you keep it fun, and as long as you kind of have a goal in mind that you're kind of trying to get to, and you're being innovative, I always want to give myself a new challenge, right? And I want to be able to kind of hold my mark. So that's what drives me, really. So when I see an opportunity to be able to kind of, you know, think outside the box and do something a bit more unusual, that's me, right? But I'm also an all or nothing guy. I keep that challenge alive. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This has been a really solid day. I love the fact that a lot of you have actually reached out to me, asked me questions. I love to give that insight back to you. So don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything else. There's obviously a lot of content, and I can't kind of finalize it all in one day. I will try and continue this a little bit more consistently as you've requested. It's been fun. Stay tuned. Good night.